Right. చేయాలి. ఏ మేడం వాళ్ళు
So, good evening, everyone. Please give me just 3 minutes. I'll start the meeting. So, just give me 2 minutes. So, good evening, friends. Welcome for our today's session of Art of Smart Work. So, we just want to introduce our speaker. So, over to Dr. Padmaja, ma'am.
Sridhar madam. Madam, unmute yourself. Un-
Unmuted, ma'am.
yeah. You can introduce Dr. Gajendranath, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. And let me welcome each and everybody who is being a part of this esteemed program, where we are all learning how to be more smart and effective in our professions. And on this occasion, let me introduce the speaker of today's program, Dr. Gajendranath. He is a faculty in the Department of Triple
Triple.
IIT Hyderabad. He received the B degree from Usmania University, Hyderabad, India in 2006. He obtained the MTech and PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, India in 2008 and 2016, respectively. He worked as an analog circuit design engineer for mobile handsets with ST Ericsson from 2008 to 2010 and with Aura Semiconductor during 2011, 13, and 2016. Seeing his professional career, IIT Hyderabad has given a red carpet welcome to serve with a lifetime joining period. Apart from his professional life as a Grihastha PR, he is practicing KC for the past 15 years. His whole family is actively participating, practicing KC. He is very well studied in spiritual subjects like Bhagavad Gita. Uh, he is also a great source of inspiration for many devotees in Hyderabad, because of which they are well settled in their KC. He gives inspiration, motivational talks on lifestyle management based on these Vedic literatures at various engineering colleges across India. To name a few, IIT Hyderabad, IIT Bombay, BITS Fulani, Hyderabad campus, Usmania, CBIT, JNTU, NIT Warangal, SV University, Tirupati, Pune University, etc., and today with us. And he is also actively involved in value education programs conducted by ISKCON Hyderabad at various schools and colleges, benefiting thousands of children. Because of his such professional career and devotional dedication, he is well appreciated in all round circles of students and faculties at IIT Hyderabad. He has agreed to extend and give his association with us. Let us all welcome him in a traditional way by loudly chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can you all please once join in saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
And I now request Madam to please introduce, start off the program with the inaugural address.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to all the attendees of today's session by Dr. Gajendranath. I know everyone will be stressed in every day's our daily work style. Today's modern workplace is an environment where the work-life balance is prominently championed. Depending on the culture of the place we work, we all have to evolve ourselves more dynamically every day in order to meet the needs of our daily professional work. It is important because in any organization, the most visible aspect is the working atmosphere. All the employees from all positions of the organization, as they step into their workplace, they will be happy sometimes and they will be stressful sometimes. They may have both abilities to do their jobs and also have some work related stress which they have to manage. Therefore, it is important for all of us that we have to together create a happy and conducive environment. If the work stress is due to inability to handle the issues which take a toll on us, we'll be left with low energies, reflecting in a low productivity. Scientific research and study also state that an employee is more motivated and more productive if he or she is able to achieve and succeed in their professional targets. Uh, with this few words, I would request Dr. Gajendranath to speak on this very good session. I'm sure all of you will benefit with this session, and and we are all very happy to be part of this session, Art of Smart Work, which is the need of the hour as we are all now in the process of upgrading our skills in teaching during this pandemic. And I feel we shall all have a valuable and practical take back from today's session. So, over to Gajendranath sir.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
madam.
ma'am. Thank you, Padmaja ma'am and Sridevi ma'am.
Thank you,
Would
sir.
you like to, you are trying to tell something? I thought, sorry, I stopped you, it seems.
No. You can continue, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words. So, I need 50 minutes. I hope I can go till 6:15, till 7:05. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for your kind introduction. So, let me share my screen. So, may I know which all colleges are present, if I can get some idea?
Actually, from Vidya Jyoti only I know. I don't know about the other colleges who are
Okay,
participating.
okay, okay. Maybe Anup knows. It's okay. You are from Vidya Jyoti Institute of
Yeah,
Technology.
right.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Anup, you're trying to say something. I think we can't hear you. That's okay. Don't worry. We'll start the session maybe. You are muted. Okay. Okay, so I thank each one of you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you all today on this topic of art of smart work. So it's a huge topic, but 45 minutes, whatever I could cover, I'll try to cover as much as possible. So I also express my gratitude to your teachers and the organizers who gave me an opportunity to speak today. Thank you very much. Now, I will give you 3 tips for the smart work. And the first tip is, if you see, our life is like a book, a notebook. For example, if your college has just started, you'll buy a notebook, right? And what you see at the end of the first semester in your notebook is what actually you have written. Nothing new is going to come.
I request all the attendees to, because some noise is coming somewhere.
Yeah, I muted. Somebody's mic was on. I muted him.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So as I was telling you, when you buy a new notebook, whole semester you write. So at the end of the semester, what you see is what you have written. So we can compare. Our life is also like a book, right? Now the book has, yeah. So our life is, let's say, 100 years. You can compare that like with 100 chapters in our book, in our notebook. And there are 365 pages per chapter, 365 days per year. And each day corresponds to each page, and each chapter corresponds to each year. Now, you're all just joined the university, so you must be now 15 or 16, 17 years old. So you already written 17 chapters of your life, right? Now, whatever is happened, happened. But what we want to do is when we look back in the life, we want to just convince ourselves that we have written the right scripts, right? And we have done the right things in our life. So we should write everything within our notebook of life very, very maturely. So now, what do we write in our life book depends actually upon our thoughts, right? So what activity we did in this whole year or till 17 years of our age depends upon actually what are our thoughts, right? Now, these thoughts are very important because when we get a thought, right? What is the next thing is we contemplate on the thought. When we contemplate on the thought, it actually becomes an action, right? When you repeatedly do that action, that becomes our habit, right? When we repeatedly act on that habit, then that defines our character. Now, our character leads to our destiny. So, basically, everything started from a thought. Now, where do I get my thoughts from? We get those thoughts from the association. Now, association does not simply mean that meeting a friend or a person or staying with them. Association also means what we watch, what music we hear, right? What books we read, who are my friends. So these are all association. So, for example, if you take an iron piece, put it in the fire, it gets all the qualities of fire. But if you take that same iron piece and put it in the deep refrigerator, if you freeze it, then it gets the qualities of ice cold, right? Cold ice. So similarly, our life, the scripts we write in our notebook of life actually depends upon our thoughts, which essentially comes with what we associate with. So there is a saying, we become what we associate with, right? If you want to become a good citizen, you should have a good friends. If somebody wants to become a thief, then he'll have friends like him, right? If somebody wants to become an IAS officer, he should stay and study with the students who are studying for IAS. And all this simply depends upon thoughts. So our thought leads to an action. When we contemplate on the thought and think about it for a while, for example, if I want to watch a movie, if I keep on thinking about that movie for a while, then I'll put that into action. For example, if I had a verbal fight with someone, if I keep on contemplating on that verbal fight, when I get an opportunity, I may I may abuse him physically or orally, whatever way. So the point here is we become what we associate with. So all the habits we cultivate defines our life. It is said that in a day, we get close to 50,000 thoughts. Now, if you pass for 1 second and if you pass and wait for 10 seconds, you can count how many thoughts you get. That's why it's not that we can just completely stay on one thought for a long time. But what happens is, because of our association, some thoughts become stronger, some thoughts become weaker. So now all of us wants to become a good citizens and great leaders, right? In future you will be leaders in India, wherever you may be. So a leader is the one who takes the decisions, and on those decisions, many people's life actually depends. Now it is said, a research study says that most of the decisions taken by an individual actually depends upon his habits. But how did he get into that habit? That habit actually started from a thought. The basis for thought is an association, right? It all started with an association, right? Now the thought, when you keep on contemplating, it becomes an action. When you do that action repeatedly, that becomes a habit. So you know that you are in a college, now you just entered. So my first tip is, make sure that you get a right association, right? Then you get a right thoughts. When you get a right thoughts, you act correctly. When you act in a right path, then that's the first step. You don't waste time at many places. Even when you are walking on a wrong path, when you are in the right association, they'll make sure to put you back onto the right track. Correct? So now you see here, there are simple, serious, and grave bad habits. Just because you came into the college, right? You wanted to do very well in academic career. You wanted to build a good relationship. You want to strongly grow internally and set a good example. But there are simple bad habits, right? We get into every day, right? For example, biting nails, telling small lies, right? Then there are serious bad habits like bunking classes, browsing too much of time on the internet, watching too many YouTube videos, right? Too much social networking. Nobody wants to physically go and meet a person. Everybody wants to basically make virtual friends, right? Then and spend too much time on it. Nowadays, the most serious bad habit we have is this mobile phone addiction. Because we get addicted to mobile phone, many people I see nowadays, youngsters, they take the phone out every 2 minutes or 5 minutes once. They simply on it, they see something and they close it. Although there is no necessity, they simply pick this phone. Even they don't know that they are doing it. They are unconscious because they consciously acted for first few days. It rather becomes unconsciously get into the deep roots, right? Then the next thing is the grave bad habits. The serious bad habit is nowadays is the browsing the cell phone, right? It is so addictive that students waste most of the time on mobile phone. Now let's do a small computation. Every day, if you spend 5 minutes on your cell phone browsing YouTube or some other Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is, then 24 times 5 minutes is a lot of time, right? I mean, uh, it's if you basically spend 12 hours on internet, it's like an hour. So at least you are guaranteed to lose 2 fruitful hours in that, right? Now the next grave bad habits we get in because of the bad association, where we waste a lot of time, is because of wrong association. Now you see a lot of people get into smoking, drinking alcohol, taking drugs. This all happened and they wasted this precious life just because they got a wrong association. So now let me just explain you something more, right? We waste a lot of time because we get into bad habits, right? That's why the habits are actually addictive in nature. This addictive term is a Greek word. It comes from ad plus dict. You know what the dict stands there? Dict means dictatorship. If some dictator starts dictating, can you say no? No, right? You can't say. Right? Whatever he says, we have to obey. Otherwise, he will kill us. Similarly, habits are also addictive in our nature. Once they get into us, then they dictate our life, right? So there is a saying, in habit, if you remove H, a bit remains. A bit remains. If you remove A, bit remains. Still something, a bit remains. If you remove B, it still remains. So that's the nature of the habit, right? And all this came, why are we talking about this topic? Because if you want to be a smart worker, you have to know what is your association, what are your thoughts, how are you getting addicted to the bad things, how are you wasting your time, right? That's why there is a saying, habits are first cobwebs, then cables. You know cobweb? The spiders make the cobwebs. Is it easy to break or difficult to break? Easy, right? But the thick cables used in the construction are very, very difficult to break. Similarly, once we get into a habit, initial days it's easy to break it or get it down, cut it down. But later, as we keep on doing that habit, once that habit forms very deep rooted, then they become thick cables. It's very, very difficult to cut that. Thick cables used in the construction. Now, that's why there is a saying, consciously create habits because habits unconsciously dictate your life. So as we were discussing, from an association, we sow a thought. When we sow a thought, when we contemplate on it, we reap an action. When we sow an action, we reap a habit. When we sow a habit, we reap a character. When we sow a character, we reap a destiny. Right? That's why there is a saying. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Right? So that's why think right thing and become the right person. And you can save a lot of time if you are in a company of good people. You are in a company of watching good things. You are in company of hearing good music. You are in company of reading good books. Right? So all starts from the first letter of English, which is A, that is association. Okay? Now you may ask, oh, well, I got into some bad habit. How do I get rid of it? The simple problem for any problem to solve in life is that first we should accept that we have a problem. Now there are so many people in this world, you find them, you say them, smoking is injurious to health. Then they say, well, I don't care. Well, I don't believe. So the first thing is to change a bad habit. We should accept that we should have a right positive attitude. And we should accept that we got into the wrong thing. Then we should have a right behavior. Right? So the first thing is attitude, then the next thing is behavior, and the third thing is thinking. So how do we change? We should have a positive attitude. What is that positive attitude? How did I get into this habit? What can I do to diffuse this? I refuse to let this hook me. Now I will give up my bad company. I will replace it with good company. This habit is nectar in the beginning, but poison at the end. So this is self-awareness, right? When you think like this, when you have a right attitude, you can change your behavior and you can knock out your bad habit, right? So how do you change your behavior? Discrimination, determination, and discipline, DQ. To know what is discrimination, to know what is right and what is wrong, right? Second thing is we should have a willpower to say when the bad thing again comes back to us, no to it. Then the third thing is discipline. What is discipline? We should practice a certain good things, right? And saying no to the bad thing with a great willpower. Over a period of time, then we should be able to get rid of it. Then the next tip is, so the first tip, what is the first tip? A. A stands for association. The second tip is be a plus time manager. Okay, what is plus time manager? How do you be a plus time manager? If you want to save your time, you need to do these three things. PDI. P stands for planning, D stands for doing, I stands for interacting. Right? Now, there is a saying that if you fail to plan, it means you actually plan to fail. So that's why the first step is you should basically chalk out your plan. Plan means what? Organizing. What thing I have to do when? Morning, I should do this. Afternoon, I should do this. Evening, I should do this. You should have some plan. I'm sorry, somebody is calling. Is my screen visible? Anu, can you confirm is the screen visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so the first thing in to become a plus time manager is you should have a good planning. The next thing is doing. Whatever you plan, you should execute. Next thing is not just doing, you should also interact with people. Who are those? They are in your team, right? Sometimes you give 4 tasks to 4 people, you never bother to talk to anyone. You're simply doing your work. They need your presence too. They need your attention too, right? Now, these two are three important things. Now, let's see that. Now, if planning, doing, and interacting, all these if you are doing, you are a balanced person and you are a good plus time manager, right? Now, if you are good at planning and doing also good, but you are not interacting with people around you, it means you do your own things well, but you are not good to be a part of a big team where you become a leader. Now, you may good at planning, you may bad at planning, but doing and interacting is excellent. It means you are actually working on others' priorities, not your priorities. Now, sometimes you must be good at planning, but not good at doing, but good at interacting. You have good intentions, but no work gets done because you are not really doing any work. Now, you are a minus time manager if you got this, right? What are those? If you are good at planning, you are neither doing nor interacting. It means you are simply planning. They are called daydreamers. They don't work. They'll only keep sketching the plans. The next thing is you are neither good at planning nor good at interacting. You're simply working. It means you're workaholic. You don't know what you're doing. You're simply running. You saw the monkeys like that. Now, you are neither good at planning nor good at doing, but you are interacting. It means you are delightful but incompetent. You cannot do work, but you can basically entertain the people around you nicely. Next, there are people who are lazy. They are neither good at planning nor good at doing nor good at interacting. They are neither delightful nor incompetent nor competent. Right? So now we want to go from all minus to all plus. I want to make all things, any minus is there, we want to flip it to plus. Right? How do we do it? To do that, first we need to understand this matrix. This is called time management matrix. You see that here there are 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. Now y-axis is here is important, here is not important. Right is not urgent, left is urgent. Now, what falls in what? In the quadrant 1 is called quadrant of action, which is urgent and important. Right? This is not very important, very nice quadrant because there will be a lot of, we work only on the deadlines. We never work before, right? For example, right? Your mother says, hey, it's your duty to book a gas. And she tells you, hey, gas is over, book the gas. Now what will you do? You'll simply ignore it. Then again, your mother will give another reminder. Hey, gas is over, book it. You simply ignore it. Now, finally, one day the second cylinder is also over. Then you have to run to the neighbors and bring it. Now, these are called crisis and deadlines, right? Why did this happen? Because we didn't really properly plan it, right? So sometimes it may happen intentionally, sometimes it may happen without our knowledge or without our presence or without our any intention. They can come. Health crisis, an accident, a breakdown, a maintenance needed, like that. These situations can come. Now, how do we avoid? See, these unnecessary, unfortunate things which come, we cannot avoid. But many times we get into this quadrant of action because we neglected quadrant of quality. What is that? Quadrant of quality is the quadrant where we have to land all the time. So what are those? Planning and preventive maintenance, right? Self development, relation building, training, education and empowerment. See, for example, if you have to submit an assignment after 4 days, you better work from the day zero, right? But if you start working from the last minute, then you may not be able to complete it. May some other thing comes in quadrant of action. What will you do? You'll simply lose it. So that's why this is called quadrant of quality, where you actually plan. For example, if you have a scooter, you have to give it for a once in a while for a maintenance, right? You have to give it for a servicing. And sometimes in our life, we need to do some yoga. Always we need to do some yoga. We need to build some relationship. We need to learn some new skills, right? We also need to teach what we know to others to empower them. These things, if we spend a lot of times on quadrant of quality, nothing goes back to the quadrant of action. Now, these two quadrants are the only quadrants we have to stay at whatever it is, right? This,
Sorry to interrupt, sir.
yes.
We are not able to see the quadrants slide.
Is it? It's not moving, huh?
No.
Let me share back again. Can you see Anup now?
Yes, sir. Now we can see. Thank you.
Is it moving? Slide is moving?
Yes, it's moving now.
I'm sorry. So I'm telling that there are four quadrants: quadrant of action, quadrant of quality, quadrant of deception, quadrant of waste. Now we don't want to stay in first quadrant as such. If unfortunately something comes up, we have to act on it. But generally we get into quadrant one from quadrant two because we did not plan. We did not do our duty well in advance, right? So that's why try to be in quadrant of quality, but sometimes you can get into quadrant of action. Next, quadrant of deception and quadrant of waste. These are the two waste quadrants which we never wanted. There are some waste telephone calls, drop in unexpected visitors, pressing matters. See, a lot of times we get a lot of phone calls, which some things are probably important, some things are just not important. And sometimes some people unexpectedly come. We can't say no, but we need to know that we are doing some work and we have to convey them in a politely and understand our concern and speak with them sometimes and make sure that things are in place. Now, the last quadrant is the most useless quadrant, which is quadrant of waste. Trivial matters, some unimportant mail, call time wasters, and most important thing is browsing internet, right? That comes here. People watch so many things in this world. This age is called the age of information. You can get anything you want on your fingertips. But what is the use of it? Right? Your mind is bombarded with so many things. Then you don't have a clear thought process. When you don't have a clean and clear thought process, how can you do any work? So you can't basically do planning, right? You can't do any you can't do any activity. You can neither interact with the people nicely. Just a second. sorry. Okay. Yeah. Next thing is, we don't want to spend a lot of time in quadrant of deception and quadrant of waste. We simply want it to be in quadrant of quality. Okay. So this is the second thing, which is B plus time manager. First is A, next is B, right? Now, next thing is uh, we have to introspect, right? Personal life, professional life, because personal life gives one type of joy, which are personal and basically comes from relationships, and the professional life gives results, which comes results, which gives another type of joy. We have to introspect and act nicely. So basically, the smart workers focus on better preparation, improving communication with the people, empowerment, preventive maintenance, personality development, seeking new opportunities, taking better care of oneself. So taking care of the health, for example, comes in quadrant two. So when we act on the quadrant two, we will become a plus time manager. Okay. So effective time management lies in spending considerable time in quadrant two activities which are important but not urgent. Right? So now the third tip is know your personality type. Right? So this is very, very important, which is the essence of all our talk. And if we understand that, we know how to stay in quadrant two, right? So now let's go in detail. Now, so this tip three is, first we need to know that there are three types of personality. The people who are in goodness, people who are in passion, and people who are in ignorance, right? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. There are three varieties of people. Now, let's try to understand with more examples what is this goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? Now, I'll start with ignorance first. Now, actually, anything in the creation can be classified into one of these three modes, a mixture of these modes, right? For example, you see in the center, there is an animal which is the fox, right? Now, the animal which is in passion is tiger. The animal which is in goodness is cow. Now, if somebody, and people are also in these three modes, passion, ignorance, and goodness. So a person who is in ignorance, he possesses three qualities: nidra, alasya, and pramana. Nidra means sleepiness. Alasya means basically postponing, procrastinating tendency and laziness. And pramada means madness. Now, let's take three examples. You see a cow or an elephant. You see an elephant, for example. It is in mode of goodness. Elephant is so massive in its size, so big, right? It works so well with human beings, right? Elephant. It can carry a lot of load from one place to another place. It works very well. It's a vegetarian stout animal. If you take a tiger, it's a passionate animal. There is a saying that if you put a tiger and a human being in a room, either tiger will eat the human being or human being will shoot the tiger. They cannot work together. So that's why tiger is called a passionate animal, right? It creates fear in everyone. Now the last thing is the fox, right? This fellow sleeps the whole day and night it goes for the food and it never fetches its own food by hunting. It basically eats the leftover by other animal. So that's the nature of this fox. So we have animal elephant, we have a tiger, we have a fox. These three animals fall in three categories: goodness, passion, ignorance. And similarly, in 24 hours of span also, it falls in three modes. For example, the morning time falls in goodness, daytime falls in passion, and nighttime falls in ignorance. Now, what are the qualities of a person who is in ignorance? He basically he's lazy, he has tendency to postpone, procrastinate, and he also has madness, right? Now you see a person who is in ignorance, He sleeps, he is lazy, he is mad, he postpones, he cannot come to any decision correctly, he is always panicky, he is intoxicated, confused, foolish, dull, inattentive, fearful, hopeless, depression, bewildered, suicidal thoughts, no thinking, insecure, laziness. These are the people who are in mode of ignorance. Even if you are a student or a teacher or anyone who is falls in this category, any one of us, then we fall into this mode of ignorance. Next is mode of passion. A person who is in mode of passion, he possesses two qualities. They are Sangha and Trishna. Sangha means hankering for the association of opposite sex, right? And Trishna means excessive greed, right? And he wants to be first always. He never cares about anyone around him. And a person is also lusty. So a person who is in passion, he has pride, he's greedy, he's intoxicated, he has bossing tendency, and he has a great thirst for honor and prestige. He's envious, right? He takes snap decisions. See, he can be a good individual player, but he cannot lead a team and cutthroat competition. He wants to impress opposite sex. He is very ambitious. These are the qualities of a person who is in passion. Now let's see the person who is in goodness. A person who is in goodness, he possesses two qualities which are sukham and jnana. Sukham means happiness, jnana means knowledge. Now, for example, if I have a knowledge that if I smoke the cigarette, which is injurious for my health, I don't smoke. Then I get into happiness. So whenever you have a knowledge, you get happiness. Now, a person who is having knowledge, who is happy, possesses these qualities, which are what are those? Cleanliness, wisdom, forgiveness, controlled mind, discipline and obedience, compassionate to all, controlled senses, calm, clear, and creative thinking. He is friendly to everyone. He has tolerance, right? He is noble, saintly, and he has godly qualities. And he is thoughtful, right? He is simplicity. And he has a regulated lifestyle. He eats at the right time, he sleeps at the right time, he wakes up at the right time, and these right times are fixed. He doesn't change here and there. One day I slept at 10, one day I slept at 12, one day I slept at 2 a.m. Other one day I got up at 10 a.m., one day I got up at 3 a.m. No. He actually speaks the right, correct, same time every day, eats good food which is healthy for him, and he takes care of his health. Basically, that is the person who is in goodness. Now, let me give you a couple of examples to explain you these three personality types. Why are we trying to understand these things? Because when we go from ignorance and passion to the goodness, we can save a lot of time. Lot means lot of time. So that's why it's important for us to understand these three personalities have three modes, right? Now let's say that there are three students, right? These three students, one is in goodness, one is in passion, one is in ignorance. Let's say there is a new book in your VGIT college, Vidyajyoti Institute College. There was a new book in the library. Then a student who is in goodness, he goes to the library, he picks the book, he reads the content, and he shares the content with others. He says, look, there are examples that are very well explained. So kindly read it. It will be helpful for you. And a student who is in passion, he always wants to get first. When he goes to a library, he picks the book, he never shares anything with him. He simply takes it, he makes his own notes, he writes. Right? But a student who is in ignorance, he never goes to library. He simply sleeps in his hostel room. By mistake, if he goes to library, he comes to know this book is good, he'll pick the book, he puts inside his almirah and locks it. He never bothers to even open it. The person who is in goodness, he has a bit, he can be a good leader. Whatever he knows, he shares with others. He empowers others. Person who is in passion is very self-centered. He only wants to be first. A person who is in ignorance neither he benefits nor he helps others to benefit. Right? Now let's see, there is a situation tackling exercise here. Let's say there are a lot of people who went to a cinema, and suddenly there was a fire in the cinema theater. Now there are hundreds of people sitting in the watching a movie, and suddenly there was a fire, and fire alarm sounds. How would a person who is in ignorance, passion, and goodness respond? Now, one who is in ignorance, he simply sit at one place and started screaming and yelling, "Oh, there is a fire! There is a fire! There is a fire!" He creates a great fear in everyone's heart. But a person who is in passion, Not only he screams, he starts running here and there, hither and thither, and he creates trouble to everyone around. Now, a person who is in goodness, he sits at one place. He starts thinking what best he can do. Anyway, situation is not in my control. He takes out the phone. He simply calls fire station. Right? Now, that's how a person who is in goodness, he possesses calm, clear, and creative thinking. Because he has ability to control his mind under difficult situations. Now, let me tell you another example. Right? Once there was a cap seller who was selling caps in the summer. So one day on a summer day, while he was selling caps, he was very tired in the afternoon time. He went and he slept underneath a tree. It was hot. Then suddenly when he went to deep sleep, a lot of monkeys came, picked the caps. And when monkeys got it screaming, he got up and started looking at it. Now, if this fellow is in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, how does he react? Let us see. How does he react? If he is in goodness, if he is in ignorance, he simply started yelling, shouting at the monkeys. If he is in passion, he will take a stick and started running behind the monkeys. But neither of these two acts actually helps, right? But if he is in goodness, he has calm, clear, and creative thinking. He knows that monkeys are good imitators. He simply picks up the cap and throws it into the basket. All the monkeys repeat the same act. So the situation is, the point what I'm trying to tell you is, even when you are put in under difficult, stressful situation, if you practice mode of goodness regularly, with a regulated lifestyle, good eating habits, good sleeping habits, right? Then you naturally save a lot of time and you get a creative and smart way you can do things, right? So you can do this exercise now because of lack of time I'm not doing. But basically, we want to be in quadrant 2. What is the quadrant 2? Quadrant 2 is important but not urgent, right? We wanted to stay in that quadrant because we can do lot of work which is worth, right? Fruitful work, nice work, right? Work which gives benefit to us in quadrant 2. How do we stay in quadrant 2? Only when you stay in mode of goodness. So we neither want to be in ignorance, nor we want to be in passion. We want to be in goodness. So now I'll show you a nice Venn diagram for you, which explains you these concepts very well. Now, the first personality type is a person who is in mode of goodness. Start with. He is a man who is noble, man of perfection. He has love and compassion. Okay? Now, a person who is in passion, he is aggressive, full of selfish drive, and prone to activity. And a person who is in ignorance, he is lazy, sensuous, and inactive. So, why do we say a person who is in ignorance is a troublesome? Because, see, for example, somebody is addicted to drinking liquor. What does he do? He drinks the liquor, he sleeps the whole day, and when evening comes, when he comes to senses, he wants to drink liquor again. He will go, he will rob somebody, right? And he will snatch all the money and he will go and drink. He spoiled his health, and later police will catch him and put him in the jail. So he troubled himself and created trouble for others. Those are the peoples. These are called criminal lawbreakers. Now there are people, simple-minded people. They have lack of worldly experience. That's why they fall in this goodness and ignorance, right? Now they need a good guidance so that they can go to the sun. Now there are people who falls in passion and goodness. They are the people whom we want. You must be wondering how passion is bad. Passion itself is bad, but passion driven by the goodness is good. That's why a person who is passionate but driven by the goodness, he actually stands for principles and values. Now there are people who are intersection of rajasic and tamasic, which is passion and ignorance. They are basically opportunists, wants others to work for him and prone to violence. They don't want to do any work. They want others to work. Now, commoner, like many one of us, no guidance, prone to influences. We will be pulled into sattvic or rajasic or tamasic based on the activity we do. Right? So similarly, if I stay with the people who are in goodness, I will be in goodness. If I stay with people who are passionate, I'll behave like passionate people. If I stay with the people who are in ignorance, I'll be ignorant person. That's why this commoner has to stay always with goodness people. How do we get that? Through association. That's the first way what we discussed. Now, who falls in goodness? Scientists, poets, philosophers. They are basically always in goodness. And a commercial businessman, he never cares about what is the consequence. He simply wants to make out of money out of the business. Then criminals and lawbreakers who fall in goodness. Now, a learner falls in goodness and ignorance. Then a noble leader with a good vision falls in intersection of goodness and passion because he works very hard, but he is driven by good principles and values. So we wanted to stay in this intersection or in goodness, one of them. Then we have political leaders. They are basically opportunists, right? They want others to work for them. They want to take all the credit. The next type of people are, they are like many of us, trainees. They will be influenced by whichever personality type they associate. Thank you. Now, how do we boost our mode of goodness so that we can be happy, we can stay in quadrant 2, we can be a plus 10 unit? The first thing, as I was telling you, is association. Right? Associating with the good people who possess love, compassion, devotion, with excellent qualities. And the second thing is books. Right? Many times we know that what is good, what is bad. Right? But we don't have a willpower. That comes through studying good wisdom literature and putting those principles into the practice. The third C stands for chanting or meditation. Any religion you take, they have some mantra, they chant on beads. So basically they say the mantra and they hear the mantra. This is a process of mantra meditation. Every religion has this. Whichever religion you practice, you can adopt that. And the fourth thing is diet and exercise. You should eat good fruits, milk, grains, cereals, vegetables, and natural products. And this type of food we should eat because it's very important to eat such food because if you see in our life, many people eat fast foods, pani puri for example. Is it good? It's not really good, right? I mean, it's not made with good hygiene. So generally, these foods, which is the vegetarian food, is good for a person to have maintained good health. Next thing is environment. Avoiding unfavorable ambience and accepting a nice spiritual ambience. It certainly helps somebody to boost mode of goodness. So, doctors advise for stress reduction and positive thinking. What are the four basic elements in that? A quiet environment, a comfortable position, the repetition of prayer, and a passive attitude free from thoughts. So these are all the principles which helps you to stay in mode of goodness. That ends my talk. So if you have any questions or comments, we can take.
Just before going to our question and answers, I would like to just give some announcements. Can you get 2-3 minutes of time?
Yeah, sure. I'm done.
So I'll be taking over some 5 minutes, and after that we can proceed with question answer sessions. So I first of all thank all of you for joining our Art of Smart Work session, which is actually a very vital topic these days, also for professional people and also for students. So I would like to share one promo video and one poster, so which I am going to take you through. So you can see the video. I'll just share it. So let me know if somebody is not able to hear.
Importance for you, then like discoveries like gravity, electromagnetism.
So is it audible?
And relativity have changed the course of world history. But a discovery of far more importance for you than all these is yet to be done. done. Indeed, that discovery, which can change the course of your life, beckons to you right now. It is the opportunity to discover yourself. Discover the deepest and greatest secrets of life in this exciting 6-session journey. Session 1. Can a scientist believe in God? Science, as it has probed farther into space and deeper into the atom, has found marvels of intricacy and delicacy at every level. No wonder then that the greatest scientists throughout history, Galileo, Newton, Kelvin, Einstein, Maxwell, Max Born, have all concluded that this astounding harmony and design requires a designer. Session 2. Getting the eyes to see God. If God exists, why are we not able to see Him? Does He keep Himself hidden from us? Or has He given us the means to see Him? Can material science find God for us? Or do we need another, higher dimensional science? Discover a timeless yet cutting-edge spiritual science that unravels all the truths of life. Session 3. Vedic Wisdom, the privilege of humanity. Discover your greatest human resource, an underutilized power that has raised you far above the animal world, the latent ability that can bring out the divinity locked within you. Discover also the manual for life, the wisdom literature handed down since time immemorial that contains extraordinary scientific information and unparalleled spiritual revelation. Session 4. Existence of the soul, fact or fantasy. Scientists have documented innumerable cases of extraordinary people, children who have remembered their past lives, and patients who have seen themselves from outside their own bodies. That mysterious source of consciousness, the ultimate anti-material particle, the soul or the Atman, can be discovered through Vedic spiritual science. Session 5. Substance and Shadow. All of us are searching for beauty, for love, for peace, and for joy. Discover the truth that will take your search to ultimate fulfillment, beyond the miseries and anxieties of life, beyond the limitations of time and space, to the spiritual realm, to the Supreme Person, to that which is the source of all beauty, the reservoir of all happiness. Session 6. The Path of Endless Love. Discover the sublime secret that underlies and unifies all the great religions of the world. Go beyond externals to the heart of spirituality. Love. Love for God and love for all His children. Discover practical and powerful techniques to awaken that lost love in your own heart and to share that treasure of divine love with the whole world. Don't miss this intellectual and spiritual adventure, lest you miss yourself.
Hello friends, so I think you all could watch the video, and it's the our promo of our course. So I am sharing one PowerPoint, so hope you all can see this. So we are having this discover yourself sessions. So this is actually a course, and we'll be having this course done in 6 sessions. So our plan for taking through this session is to have it every weekend. So every weekend we'll be having twice, Saturday and Sunday, so which will be comfortable for all of you. And all these sessions will be on Zoom, so you need not worry about pandemic. And for further details, we'll be sharing one questionnaire. So this is I'm sharing one a link in the chat with all of you, so you can fill that form. So you can, what you need to do is you can open that link which I'll be sharing in the chat, and you can fill your details and your short feedback, and there will be a short test for yourself for analyzing yourself. Also, as sir have mentioned that association is very important for us to move into the positive modes and at, at one point become a plus time manager. So I'm sharing, so these sessions are very important, so please take advantage of these sessions. And we'll be communicating our further details of the session in through WhatsApp groups. So please remain active, and you can contact. I'll be sharing the link now. Just a minute. So one- yeah, so I hope everybody received the link in the chat.
ఇది ఏదో
చాట్ లో
So Gajendranath sir,
Yes.
can we wait for 2 minutes, or I mean 5 minutes we will be giving for the students to write this test, and then we
Sure,
can go
sure.
for the
Yeah,
question.
yeah, sure. No problem. Yes.
So we'll be waiting for 5 minutes, and you can open this link and fill the test. So, and we'll be having question answer session after 5 minutes. So take your own time. So we have given rights for everybody to unmute themselves. So once you finish, you can unmute yourself and ask questions to sir at 7:14 p.m. So hello friends. So I think this time is sufficient. So this form you can continue filling, those who are not yet filled, and those who are having questions, you are requested to please unmute yourself or raise hand, and then ask your questions related to our session. Thank you.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just nobody's talking, so I just want
Yeah.
to make sure.
So those who are having any questions, you please don't hesitate. Sir is very friendly in answering questions, and he has himself practiced this whatever principles he has taught in the session very nicely. So please take advantage of his time. Yeah.
Hello, can I speak?
Yeah, please.
Sure. You tell. I'm sorry to interrupt. So those who are speaking, you can just mention your name and college, and then start asking. Thank you. Please proceed.
I'm Vijay Bhaskar. I'm not a student actually. Basically, I'm sitting with my daughter and saying this. This has been sent to me by somebody called Jagdish Popat. So basically, my question is, if somebody is in a state of ignorance that you defined, you classify different states, and somebody knows that they should schedule their work or they should plan their work and work their plan, and still, and they know that they have to exercise, meditate, all these things. A lot of times everyone or many people know these things, but they may not be able to actually follow these principles properly. How is it that one can, and a lot of them actually want to follow these principles, but they actually, in reality, they actually don't do it. How is it that they can achieve that, what they want to do, even if it means like scheduling and planning, doing and reflecting and things like that? Just the knowledge of it is not actually converting into reality, but how to convert this knowledge into practice. That's my question.
Yeah, that was an excellent question. So, see, the point one is, as you told, for example, I'll tell you in similar lines, there are a lot of doctors who smoke. Many of them know that it's injurious to health and it's not good, but still they cannot give it up. There comes something called willpower, or determination, or inner strength. And it's very, very difficult to develop an inner strength. That's why in Vedic study, there are two things which are coined. They are called man and buddhi. Man means, according to Western, if you map it, Western psychology, mind, and buddhi means intelligence. So when our intelligence is very strong, we should be able to overcome, and we should be able to discriminate, and we should be able to act on the right platform. So one of the methods described in ancient India to strengthen the intelligence is through the process of hearing and through the process of reading. When you read and hear about the activity you need, and importance of it and urgency of it again and again, you certainly act on it. Still, if we cannot, after hearing and reading so many times, if we cannot act on it, the next thing is to stay with the people who are doing that. See, for example, if I want to study alone for exam, I may not be able to study. If I have a friend, he will help me out and we can together study very well. That's why, let's take my shirt. If you take one thread, it is easy to break, but all the threads are so nicely stitched in it, it's very difficult to tear my shirt. That's why the A makes a lot of difference. When somebody is weak-hearted, he cannot focus on the things what he needs. He needs to find the association who are like-minded to him and have to do together for a long time. When we do together for a long time, then even we leave us, even we go to jungle also, where no one else is there, we'll do the same act. So my answer is, first thing is, many times we complicate also these things. First, we should start with simple. Simplicity is the first thing. We should not plan, okay, I will meditate for 2 hours today. Not possible, right? The first and foremost thing is make it very simple. I'll just do this activity every day for 5 minutes. Just try to do it repeatedly, right? Now, if we make it very elaborate, for example, somebody says that, okay, I'll do meditation only when I take bath, when I'm in this situation, this situation, this situation, that situation never comes. That's why you try to relax the conditions, because we should basically ignore so-called unnecessary rituals, right? And we should always, for the purpose of doing it, that's why we should always unnecessarily avoid things, make it very simple, and try to do it in association of others who are doing it. We should be able to carry on the act, right? Because these are the activities which doesn't give immediate pleasure. That's why we don't like to do. For example, if you watch a movie, right, or eat something very palatable, we find immediate pleasure. That's why we would like to do it. But these are the things, when we practice for a while, we started really relishing them. We have started really experiencing the benefit of it, right? So that's why anything which is difficult to do, which is good, you have to jump into the association of people who are doing it and make it simple to start with initially. I hope that answers your question.
That's pretty good, actually. I really appreciate and appreciate that answer. On the similar lines, again, you might have, I joined in between. I apologize if I am asking something which I've already said. On the similar lines, like somebody very sincere, like it can happen with many students, very sincere, want to do well, are quite uh, passionate about it, but still they get distracted with the digital media, the internet or TV, or so many hundreds of distractions that are there these days,
Yes.
and they're not able to focus. Could you please tell a few words about how to focus, how to understand the urgency of doing things in the right time, in the right place, to be on a higher altitude in life?
Correct. That's excellent point. It's a need of the hour. That's why, according to Vedic India, this age is called age of distraction. It is so difficult to focus on anything. The moment I try to study, I get so many calls, or so many WhatsApp messages, that, this, you name it, there are infinite ways to get distracted. So, as I was telling you, a student who wants to really be successful, the first thing he has to do is, every day he has to put some time for browsing internet or looking at WhatsApp message and so on and so forth. So in general, there is nothing so urgent in life. If there is if it is so urgent, people generally call us. So instead of browsing and checking email and WhatsApp every minute, one can put a fixed time every day, once or twice, morning and evening, or morning, afternoon, or evening. If there's something really urgent, people will call us. So that way, every day, morning or afternoon, sometime in a day, you open it, you check all the emails, all the WhatsApp messages, you respond that time and you fix the time for that. After that, you have no business with it. And another thing I practice is, whenever I want to read something, I throw my laptop somewhere. I try to pick a hard copy of the book and I try to read it. So, and also when you are trying to do, see, first and most important thing is we need to accept that this is really a distraction. I don't want to get distracted. When we accept that, then we try to take a measures. The first measure is to keep them away. So there is 3S formula. I'll just share with you. The first thing is starve. The second thing is stay away from tempting situations. Third thing is supplement with good things, right? So starve means many things we would like to have, but we don't need them. So you know that you want them, you're hankering for that, you keep them really, really leave them. The second thing is stay away from tempting situations. For example, I want to study for exam. I'm in a hostel. I should never go to someone who is watching a movie. Then I can never study. So we have to stay away from the tempting situation. And at the same time, I have to supplement with the good things. What is that? I have to go and sit in a room in which a boy is studying for the exam. If it happens to be the same exam, it will be excellent. So by applying the principle of 3S, stay away, starve, and supplement, we should be able to get rid of them. So, in principle, to practice this triple S formula also, we need to have association. Because in this age where there are so many distractions, we need good friends who reminds us on our right activity. That's why my suggestion is stay in good association and follow this triple S formula. If you come to a smartphone, fix a time in a day, make sure that you only browse on that time. And I shouldn't say this, but I don't really feel that people need so many things in life. For example, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram. People create account and everything, and they will be lost. So this age is also called, this place, age of supermarket, right? Everything is available online. When we go to online, we want to buy something, we end up buying too many things, and we sometimes even forget what we want to buy. That's why we try to avoid these tempting things and stay away from them. How is it possible when it is still in our hand? That's why this mobile phone is compared to an atomic bomb we are carrying in our pocket. We have to know how to use it, otherwise it explodes. How does it explode? Because everything is there. Now, for example, if you have a radio, now your radio will only play the song to the frequency which you are tuned, right? If you are tuned to 100 megahertz FM radio, you will listen that. So similarly, there is so much nonsense and good things on the internet. We need to know what to dial and what not to dial. But if you don't have a right association, as I was telling you, reading good books, associating with good people, hearing good music, right? And watching good movies, then we start spending a lot of time on unnecessary things. So we need to know where to tune in a right way. What is the right frequency to tune? And we should always tune to the right frequency. Naturally, when we open up also, we only tune to the right thing. So in nutshell, we have to follow this 3S formula, and we should fix a time for everything, and we should act accordingly as much as possible. I hope that answers your question.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions?
Anybody with any more questions, you can please ask. You can unmute yourself and please ask.
There were some questions on chat. Is it? Anu, can you read out the question? There is some question here.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I'm not able to read the questions.
Can I speak, sir?
Yeah, please.
Your name?
Sir, good evening. My name is John.
Hi, John. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Sir, there are occasions when I want to do good, but the environment and the situation does not allow me to do good. Then there are times when I am not wanting to do something. I don't want to take action, but the situation helplessly compels me to take action. What should I do in these two situations?
Yeah. Actually, I agree with you. We are people living in the world. We need to respect others' emotions. We need to have great gratitude towards others, and we should act positively in this world. So there can be a situations where we want to do certain things, but things, I mean, beyond our control, then we are helpless. So in such situation, we can only pray to the higher power to help us to get into inner strength. One thing. Another thing is, as you are telling, we need to always increase our willpower, internal strength. The internal muscles can only become strong when we read good books, when we hear about the great personalities and great souls, how they react in different situations. So in Vedic literature, there was a book called, there was a statement saying that if you want to judge a person how great he is, you can't really look at his beauty, his strength, his renunciation, his knowledge, or his anything, his money. These are all not define a person's greatness. A person is said to be great only if he can tolerate the provoking situations. Now, how do we get and get that mood to tolerate the provoking situations? That is only possible when you hear about the great souls. When we hear about the great souls, when we meditate on them, when we try to first initially fake it, then one day we'll make it. So I agree that we have to make our internal muscles strong, internally strong. That is possible only hearing about the great personalities. When we hear them, we understand how great to act on that platform. Then naturally we act on that platform. I hope that helps, Mr. John. Your question answer.
Sir, thank you very much. I'm grateful for your answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Anu, there was a question. Can you read it? What is this? This question is too big. If I scroll up, it's going.
I think you got a personal message, so I'm not able to read that.
Is it? Huh? Okay. Okay. I have a question from Nikhil, who is studying second year BTech. I'm good at planning, but unable to implement, execute. How can I overcome that? Yeah, I feel you should not plan too much. You plan to some degree and do it by bits and pieces. Right? Don't plan too big. Now I have second year. What will I do after 20 years? Don't plan so much. For this semester, for these courses, you try to focus and plan little, 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 little. And when if you plan too big, right, what happens? You will get bewildered, right? So that's why you plan a bit by bit and try to execute it with the help of the seniors. Then when you work with seniors, certainly they will help you. Thank you. Any comments or questions for that?
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, please.
This is about the thing you said just now, that a person is great only when he can cope with provocations.
Yes.
Now, this is a question from me
Yes.
rather than from my daughter. Like, you know, the knowledge aspects, like, for example, Bhagavad Gita, it says clearly, like a flow chart. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha, sammohat smriti bramaha,
Correct.
samshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. Like that, so many slokas are there. So
Correct.
you know that anger is bad for you, but
Correct.
whether it is your expectation or gap in the expectation and reality, you do get disappointed and sometimes get angry or you get irritated, things like that. Now, from knowledge to actually developing that what is there in the knowledge to avoid that anger, how do we achieve that accordingly? If you can, please answer.
Yeah. That is, see, the way to go avoid this lust, anger, and greed. The only way is to stay in mode of goodness and stay in touch with people who are trying to conquer them. Now, these are very, 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 very difficult um, unfortunately bad things we have to give up, and they are really enemies and very, very difficult to overcome them. So, as you are telling, anger is bad, lust is bad, greed is bad, illusion is bad. But what to do? We have to start from somewhere. So, uh, the best way to know the knowledge, one aspect is knowing what is wrong and right. Another thing is acting on that knowledge. The most difficult thing is acting on the platform of knowledge. So that is only possible when we truly know the benefits of knowing that acting on that knowledge, right? How? But even after that, we will not get inspired. So that's why we need to have examples. Now, this age is called also age of information. There are tons and tons of information, but we don't have a good examples. So, but if you refer back to the old scriptures and Puranas, you find excellent examples how these people actually acting on these principles of knowledge of Bhagavad Gita have perfected their life and led a pure, wonderful life. That's why it's very, very important to hear about the great souls. When you keep on hearing, we get a great desire. And slowly we lose taste for these unnecessary things and we become successful. But it's very, very tough.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, myself John Saida. I'm from ANRH Andhra Group of College, Andhra College of Engineering, Hyderabad.
Yeah, please, John, please tell me.
My problem is I'm good at academics, but I'm thinking that I'm not good. I get 90%, but I don't know that I'm good. I doubt myself whether I'm good or not.
You have low confidence levels. That's what you're telling, is it? How do you boost confidence?
Yes, I have no clarity about my life and about my goals also. What should I do?
So you need counseling. You need to get in touch with the seniors who has graduated from your college and who are doing well. You can take guidance from them. Then they should be able to give you a clear path, what to do next, what to do next, right? Accepting a teacher and genuinely learning from teachers who are not selfish will certainly solve all your problems. So stay in touch with the good teachers, take their guidance and their help. You should be able to excel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So adding to his question, so adding to sir's point, so you can register for our Discover Yourself course for further continuing our discussions on how to practically implement these tips and techniques.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Anuj. Thank you very much. Okay. So, thank you very much. I don't know how many are still there, but thanks for your time in joining us today. We'll meet you in the next class, next session.
so hope to see you all in the further Discover Yourself sessions. So if you have not received the link or any details, you can reply us in the chat or in the WhatsApp group which you are there. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Anuk, and all the organizers for their putting a lot of effort to bring all the people together for the right reason to build strong personal character and walk on the right path. So thanks to each one of you for joining us. I know you got some points. Try to implement them, and you will certainly become successful in life. All the best. Thank you.